What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are here on the gates of Dragonfall at a Wave 141 solo start. This one, in my opinion, is the easiest survival map to do. There might be one easier out there, but from what I've played, this seems like the one. You can run through this one solo, but if you bring some homies, particularly ones that are competent with some good DPS, it's gonna make your experience so much easier. Now, we're gonna build this one out using a big bird. I think everybody knows now that Elder Dragon is quite ridiculous on this particular, well, it's quite ridiculous everywhere. But on this map, it can cover all three lanes. There's been lots of different build variations going with it. But you can use one bird to cover all three of the lanes, and that is just incredible. Now, of course, we are going to be boosting it out. So we're going to be active on the Initiate for the wave start. This Initiate is just in all trash gear. It's not set up in any way whatsoever. And I do suggest, if you're going to do a later start, you start at 141. And the reason being, from 151 on up, unlimited, there's always going to be assassins. So if you start at 141, that particular set, the 131 to 151 waves, there are no assassins, and it makes it a little bit easier of a start and allows you time to get things upgraded before the assassins get here. Now, with our booster, there is a couple of key things. Of course, we want to get as much damage out of this as possible. So we are going to be using Radiant Power. We're going to be using Tandem Strike. I went way overboard on the cooldown reduction, so we're using Struck by Inspiration. Additionally, I'm using Inspiration. Basically, that's for 151 plus. If you're playing solo, you just got to get your Talisman down prior to the assassins jumping on you, or you've got large chances of failure. Now, in addition to that, we are going to be using Anti-Heal on our Chi Spirit. And we really want to get that cripple effect going, so I'm using Spirit Blessing, Spirit Charge, and Deadly Strikes. Now, we're going to be using a Frostfire Aura just because I had 20 DU left over, and they're big as hell and look super cool. So this one, I had that 10 out of 10 Lingering Frostfire mod. I did that Chaos 9 video back a year or whatever ago. I can't seem to find it anywhere, so I started working on another relic. I've got this one going here. Defense Rate, Defense Range, Lingering Frostfire. We're using All for One, Vicious, and Frosty Explosion. Now, we're not going to get a whole lot of kills with this aura. However, if it does get a kill, it's going to be nice, and it's going to freeze up multiple enemies. Now, we are going with Big Bird, of course, Motherly Instinct, Unique Crit Damage. I've tried several different mod configurations now, and this seems like the sweet spot. Now, for shards, I'm going with All for One, Mass Destruction, and Destruction. If you don't have, say, Mass Destruction, you could throw in a Vampiric Empowerment. If you don't have All for One, you've got to go with Defense Rate. So, you've got choices here, but for me, the sweet spot has been All for One, Mass Destruction, and Destruction. And since we're using Motherly Instinct, we've got to go with Baby Birds. So, Anti-Melee, Anti-Chaos, Defense Rate, with Dragon's Haste, Destruction, and Mass Destruction. In addition, we all know about the Ignite combo, right? There's a lot of confusion with the Ignite combo, but when you ignite an enemy right now, it gives a damage boost from everything. All your other defenses, you're all going to do 25% increased damage to the enemy that is ignited. So getting a little oil out there is just hot stuff. Now, we are going to be using this as utility, though. We just want to get the oil out, so we're using Oily Overflow. Additionally, this is going to hold our Destructive Pylon, and then Deadly Strikes just to get the range. Now, we're going to be using Buff Beams, of course. I got Destruction, Boosted Beam, and Diffusion. And we're using a Boost Aura with Destruction, All for One, and Boosted Power. Now, let's go ahead and get it going here. I usually start off with the oil. I want to get the oil as close up in the backside of the core as possible. So, gonna just nudge it up there. I do want to make sure it's just aimed directly down the middle lane. That way it's going to get coverage into all 3 of the lanes. Once we get that down, we can get our bird down. Now, the deal with the bird is the farther back you put it, the better the coverage is going to be on the outside lanes. So you want to get it all the way back into the door as far as you can get it. Once you get it back in there, then you want to get it centered on the main lanes. Now, we've got to get what? Did I talk about the Chi Spirit? I think I did. We want to get that in there. That's holding our anti-heal. We want it to also cover all the lanes. There is a nice little spot in between the little handrails here where you can place it, where, you know, we don't really need to worry about this getting, well, it's still going to get everything. It's still going to get all the buffs. So it's all good, but it gives us a little bit of room back in this corner because it is a little messy here with, I mean, what is this little carrot-eating guy? I have always wondered. I mean, what is that supposed to be? Is it a goat? I'm not sure. Anyway, dude takes up space, man. He is just in the way. Now, we want as many dragon's nests down as we can. The more dragon's nests we have down, the more damage our dragon is going to do, our big boy. Or big girl, pardon me. So we're going to go with 6 dragon's nests. Now, if you've got more DU on other maps, put down 1,000,000 of them. Because they make the Elder Dragon silly broken. It just shreds. So we got 3 over there. We're going to go with another 3 over here. Of course, we need our buff beam in. So let's go ahead and slap that bad boy down. Say just right across there. That's going to leave us 510. I feel like I missed something. Did I miss something? I did miss something. I missed my boost aura. Let's just tuck that in right here. I normally put it on this side. Put it slightly forward. Since we do have the all for one, the range on it's going to be stupid big and will easily cover your stack. Additionally, we got diffusion going on, which makes it even larger. So getting coverage of your defenses will be a non-issue, but you want to leave enough room to place your baby dragons here. Now, with 50 left, we're going to go ahead and throw down that Frost Strikes aura, and it's a big boy, but we do want to get it back here a little ways because we don't have good damage on it. Since it's not set up for damage, we want to get all we can. So we want to be able to pick up this Destructive Pylon. Additionally, we want it in the boost aura. And we see the range on it's pretty sweet. So, I mean, it goes way, way out there. And then with that final 30 DU, we're going to throw down a Reflect Beam, of course. You want to put it out here a little ways, y'all. Don't hug the core with it for several reasons. First off, we know enemies like to shoot underneath those things since they do target the bases of things. So we want to give it a little room to actually reflect. But additionally, once the assassins come, we don't want to be near our towers. So it gives us a little spot right here to kind of hide in semi-protection as the assassin is beating us down into the ground. It shouldn't take long. I'm going to throw 2 upgrades on Big Bird, 1 upgrade on Baby Bird, and then we're just going to jump right on for a little dragon riding. And we're going to be dropping our boost. Now, you got to find where you're going to want to be placing your boost prior to starting the wave. Looks like that's my sweet spot right there. So I am always going to place the boost right there. Now, remember, I am using Tandem Strike, so I want to get shots fired on the enemies, not just to reduce my cooldown, but to get that Tandem Strike benefit going as well. Let's go ahead and let it fly here. We're going to throw our Talisman down. A little premature on the Talisman placement. It is probably actually going to be gone before anything gets here. I guess it wasn't, but we'll get another one down. And like I said, you just want to get shots in. I'm using a 5 projectile weapon specifically for this. That way I'm going to just be hitting enemies. We're not here to do damage. We're here just to tap everything and slap down some boosts. So with that in mind, you just want to shoot the stuff. That's it. Just shoot everything. Just once, you know. You got 5 seconds after you shoot it. So, as we get the shots off, the lane is going to burn out. And you see, it's a relatively smooth transition. Now, that's why you start prior to 151, y'all. Because if you give yourself time to get the upgrades in, particularly if you're playing solo, it's going to be a big difference when those assassins start coming. Big difference. So I like to start at 146 normally. However, I did do the 141 start on this one, as a 141 start will give you enough to upgrade everything. Since our big dragon is doing all the work, our big dragon is what we prioritize. So we're going to take it to the roof right out of the gates, and everything else will come secondary. So I'm looking forward to pushing this build. I really think in a 2-player group, this is going to be very easy to get over 200 with this build. And in a 3-player group, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. We can really push this bad boy up. So that is the build I've been using on Gates Dragonfall. Additionally, you can use this build if you just want to farm Godly Orbs. Start relatively low. Start at, say, 61, which is the start of Chaos 10 drops. And just blaze it out. It's a pretty chill run as it's early. And it does, obviously it gets more and more difficult as you go. But, yeah, good stuff here on the Gates of Dragonfall. So that will do it for now. I will be live here within a few hours, as soon as I get my sorry butt out of bed. But that is going to get it for the moment. So thanks a ton for watching, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.